Today is Thursday, December 6th, 2018. Good night to our viewers and the PEP members. Welcome to Frontline. My name is Janice Leamonda Creaky, and I am the Public Relations Officer of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And my co-host is Head of Membership, Anthony Defoe.
Hello, good night Trinidad and Tobago and Janice.
Since September, I have been promising that I would do a piece on the Labre and the Chinese collaboration. But for some reason, I've always had some other pressing issue or hot topic that would come, bubbling to the surface. So, China's role as a key lender to countries around the world and how it has affected those countries. We have to remember that we are just a dot in the ocean, and China can gobble us up, as well as spit us out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Somebody posted on Facebook an article written by Ria Tate, dated May 24th, 2018, titled 10 Chinese Factories in New Industrial Park. Imbert details benefits of PM's trip. A hot topic that has been put on the back burner due to other issues rising to the top that needed the attention of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is the Labre shipping port and the fact that a Chinese firm has been earmarked as the contractor for this project. We need to pay attention to the fact that China has been a key lender to Venezuela since 2008, when it first provided funds for infrastructure and oil projects in the country, Bloomberg noted. In total, China has lent an estimate of $79 billion in several installments, most to be paid in oil or cash, which Venezuela does not have. A possible strategic alliance on gold mining is expected to be signed between the two countries in the near future. So to get us started tonight, I found an article that was on the internet entitled Empire of Death, China's colonizing, sorry.
Don't bite your tongue.
Colonizing smaller countries by lending them massive amounts of money they can never repay in bid for world domination. Defaulters have been pressured into surrendering assets and territory or allowing military bases on their land. This is an article that was written on the 17th of August 2018, updated the 25th of August 2018. The country China is accused of leveraging massive loans it holds over small states worldwide to snatch assets and increase its military footprint. Developing countries like Pakistan, the Maldives to Fiji, all owe huge amounts to China. Already there are examples of defaulters being pressured into surrendering control of assets or allowing military bases. Some are calling it debt trap diplomacy or debt colonialism, offering enticing loans to countries unable to repay and then demanding concessions when they default. Sri Lanka provided a prime example last year, owing more than $1 billion. I would think that is in US because it's about 786 million pounds. So you have to multiply that by $8 and change TT to work out what is the true figure, but it's working out to $1 billion in debt to China. Sri Lanka had to hand over a port to companies owned by the Chinese government on a 99-year lease. Another country is based in Africa, home to the US military, also looking likely to cede control of a port terminal to the Beijing-linked firm. America is eager to stop the Dorali container terminal falling into Chinese hands, particularly because it sits next to China's only overseas military base. Last March, ex-Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said Beijing encouraged dependency using opaque contracts, predatory loan practices, and corrupt deals that mere nations in debt and undercut their sovereignty. Now, a fact that we all have to be very careful about is that it is estimated that the Chinese military stands at over 2 million personnel.
Wow.
A report of the Center for Global Development offers some insight into the spreading China debt. It shows how infrastructure project loans to the likes of Mongolia, Montenegro, and Laos have resulted in millions or even billions in debts, which often account for huge percentages of the country's GDPs. Many of these projects are linked to the Belt and Road Initiative, a bold project to create trade routes through the huge swaths of Eurasia with China at the center. Participating countries often undertake work on roads and ports with part funding from China. More recently, China's debt empire has been rearing its head in the Pacific, prompting fears from the country intended to levy the debt to expand its military footprint into the South Pacific. Beijing creation of man-made islands in the disputed South China Sea for use as military bases suggests the concern may be warranted. In April, China made these intentions more obvious, approaching Vanuatu about setting up a military base. Australia expressed alarm at this move, which would effectively increase Chinese military presence on a key gateway to Australia's east coast, the Times reports. Vanuatu owes £191 million to China, according to one think tank. Among the projects this money funded was the largest wharf in the South Pacific, considered capable of accommodating aircraft carriers. Tonga also carries some big debts and has already admitted to struggling with repayments. Tonga Prime Minister, said on Wednesday that he was concerned Beijing was preparing to seize assets from his country. He urged other Pacific islands to join voices in calling for loan write-offs. 2 loans from China's Export-Import Bank totaling more than £91 million, equal a quarter of the country's GDP. He told Australia's ABC, "It has become a serious issue. We have debt distress." Pohiva said, with the China debt becoming more prolific, it was no longer a problem to be dealt with individually. He added, "I think these small countries will eventually come together to find a way out." China defended its lending practices, saying they were sincere and unselfish, and insisting it only lent to countries that could repay. Tonga is one among a list of South Pacific countries that have taken a debt in several years. Sydney's Laurie Institute think tank, which has closely monitored China's activities in the Pacific, estimates Beijing has poured nearly £1.4 billion into Pacific countries since 2006. Other big debtors include Papua New Guinea, which owes roughly £498 million in development and aid debt. Fiji, which owns £496 million, and Samoa with a debt of £181 million. At the heart of this sits the Belt and Road Initiative, a $1 trillion project that seeks to connect countries across continents on trade with China as its center. The ambitious plan involves creating a 6,000-kilometer sea route connecting China to Southeast Asia, Oceania, and North Africa, considered the road, as well as through building railway and road infrastructure to connect China with Central and West Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, which is considered to be the Belt. According to the CGD, a total of 68 countries fall under the scope of the Belt and Road Initiative. Australia, the United States, and countries in Western Europe have not signed up to it. Dr. Davis warned that China poses a long-term threat to the West, including Australia. China is emphasizing the Belt and Road Initiative to increase their presence around the world, but they are also developing a strong military to allow them to project power into the Indian Ocean and to undertake an anti-American axis, he told news.com.au. We are not isolated. We are part of a globalized international system. We are a key U.S. ally, and we are going to be on the front lines, and we can't avoid them. As it stands, Australia is mulling a joint regional infrastructure scheme to rival Beijing's rising influence. So what does this mean for Trinidad and Tobago? Trinidad has been called the gateway to South America. US $500 million windfall. China Harbor promises returns on Labre dry dock project. An article that was written in the Newsday that came out on the 13th of September 2018. China Harbor Engineering Company signed the agreement to build a dry docking facility in Labre. The senior business and regional manager of the Eastern Caribbean, CHEC Americas Division, projected that the project will generate foreign exchange in excess of US $500 million. Labre is one of the most depressed communities in Trinidad and Tobago. It sits on the threshold of economic prosperity, with the proposed dry dock facility to be constructed over a 4-year period. It is being billed as a project that will become the backbone of Labre and diversify the economy, one that will launch Trinidad and Tobago into an industrial center for maritime traffic. Prime Minister Dr. Rowley signed a cooperation agreement with the China Harbor Engineering Company, CHEC, for the development of the dry dock facility. CHEC had previously been blacklisted by the World Trade Organization for corruption, but the suspension has since been lifted. I wonder how come. Both the Prime Minister and the Senior Business and Regional Manager of the Eastern Caribbean, CHE Americas Division, outlined prospects for development of Labre in terms of housing, entertainment, hotels, catering, and financial services, while painting a brighter picture of the fortunes for Trinidad and Tobago in growing its GDP by 7%. However, neither men gave estimates for the cost to build the facility, only forecasting benefits, although the Prime Minister said there is to be shared equity in the venture, 30% for CHEC and 70% to the government. Wang, who I believe is the senior manager and senior business and regional manager of the company, said the project would diversify the economy and put it on a sustainable path for development for the long term, though its own activities as well as an enabler of other industries. He said the project, driven by the expansion of the Panama Canal and the demand for a larger size dry dock longer than 300 meters, can transfer Trinidad and Tobago into a hub for maritime traffic. You see that there?
That's a PP.
That is the jewel in the crown.
But we've been saying that how long now?
A long time. During the last 2 years.
That's right.
From the time that the party came into being. Now, just to finish off, there is a necessity to build a large-sized dry dock in TNT to attend to the current and future demand for ship inspection, repair, and maintenance in the region by offering services that can attract large and very large ships. Trinidad and Tobago will be transformed into an industrial center for maritime traffic. From a market perspective, due to its strategic location, competitive labor, and energy costs, there is no viable competitor in this region for Trinidad and Tobago. Wang predicts this project would generate foreign exchange in excess of US $500 million. In addition, it is set to galvanize at the local level procurement of steel supplies, paint, and other electromechanical equipment, and the transfer of technology through a partnership agreement with the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, let's stick a pin in that.
Yes, please, because you give me a whole mouthful there, and I don't even know where to start, Trinidad and Tobago. I don't even know where to start. Hear what I'm telling you.
Oh, dear.
What do you want to touch on first, Gil?
Well, boy, I am really concerned about the encroachment of China into those countries that I just called out earlier.
Oh.
Pakistan, Mongolia. Right.
I'm not concerned about them, I'm concerned about us.
But yeah, you see, the thing about it is, once they can get a foothold into Europe, right, they come into Trinidad. It's only a matter of, they're sending the forerunners to help build the dry dock. But once they get their foot inside of there.
But the thing is, you talk about building the dry dock. I mean, again, Janice, we jump into too many different things, too many different places. Let me start from an area where the people could get a little piece of sense from this nonsense, right?
Right.
So,
Let me hear you.
we're talking about administration that jump out into the public space on media and talking about you want to build a dry dock in Labrie. Okay, all well and good. Now, we've had discussion before about who it is that owns a lease pertaining towards the pitch lake, right?
Correct.
Nobody within the administration of the present day or even past who's in opposition right now can answer that question for the public to actually know. What was the deal that was signed pertaining towards that pitch lake? And why of all places that the decision to make a dry dock is in Labrie? That's number one. Because for me, I think in my mind that, the word on the ground is that China has a 99-year lease, I believe. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Because we have not seen the actual documentation signed off and all of that. Because again, no transparency, no accountability.
They got the 99-year lease in Sri Lanka.
Oh, they got it in Sri Lanka.
Right? But
that's for Sri Lanka.
Right. So therefore, if I were them, I'm looking for 99 years all around the world.
No, but that's the standard. That's basically what they do right across the board. In fact, most countries, especially with deals, exchanges, and deals between country and country, it quantifies to around 99 years, because the Americans did the same thing as well. But my point is that there's just too many missing pieces of the puzzle, Trinidad and Tobago. Too many missing pieces. Because again, you're having a dry dock being built. What's the actual cost or proposed cost? What's the worst case scenario within that cost? What's the best case scenario within that cost? Again, these are engineers, people who are supposed to know exactly what they're doing and have an estimate or an idea as to what the actual cost factor is going to be. I mean, material is material. If we are sourcing any material here or a bulk of it here or whatever we are sourcing here, we must have a direct idea of what that cost is. And if we have materials coming in from abroad, if China is bringing in their own material, are they able to equate exactly what's that cost factor? And why is it they aren't able to actually put numbers on a piece of paper and present that to the nation? Let's say it's going to cost us $1.2 trillion to create this dry dock. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing a number out there. The point is that we have no idea what this deal is. So again, the people are being left as fools in the dark, blinded, and having it shoved down their throats and saying that it's supposed to be okay. But we've not had the chance to actually scrutinize this. We have not gotten the chance to really vet and understand the entire dynamics to this deal. And again, I am not knocking the initiative. In fact, PEP has been talking, Progressive Empowerment Party has been talking about that for the last 2 years since the party formed. It's one of our initiatives that we believe can bring a major change within the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, and that can, yes, help diversify our economy to a certain extent. I mean, it's pacifying at least what numbers they are throwing around here within this report. It's what, 500 million US dollars. Okay, fine. Well, remember, Trinidad and Tobago, we do have a 60 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollar budget on a yearly basis, basically. So, with that said, what is, because at 500 million, right, you're looking at, that's what, 3 billion US?
Yeah, but
TT?
Yeah, but you see, again, this is, if the question I have is all the money going to come from China, or is it that Trinidad has to put in a portion?
Again, no accountability and no transparency. And that's a very good question that you're asking there. It's a very good concern, because again, who it is that's actually fitting this course? This is a perfect example with Sandals. We got word initially Sandals was the one was going to be building this thing, and all of a sudden it just flipped as far as we are the ones that's actually going to be building this thing and basically paying Sandals for the name to use it. And what? I mean, look, we need to have people in positions to present proper accountability to the people, to present proper transparency to the people, as well as creating a proper think tank of sorts that can interact with the public and other bodies that may have invested interests, one, as well as the ones that possibly might have downstream invested interests with such a project. And my point is that, there was no discussions across the board where this was concerned. But yet you have all these mega projects taking place and nobody's talking about it. What is opposition doing? UNC, what are you doing? You are supposed to be there in opposition on behalf of the people, ensuring that the present-day government, the ones that's in power, the PNM, are not behaving in public office and is presenting a proper level of accountability and transparency to the people. I mean, that is your agenda as far as the people are concerned, being in opposition, but you're not hearing anything from the UNC. So again, where are we as a citizenry in Trinidad and Tobago left? Again, it's the same cycle. 56 years of this Trinidad. We cannot go down this road, and I am asking when and how and who we are going to put into place to ensure the accountability and transparency that is deserved to the people. That's my bottom line,
There seems to be a lot of wastage, because if you go back to the ferry service to Tobago, I mean, there's just a lot of wastage of money.
Well, the ferry service, look at this damn boat that say that they spend all this money for. The damn thing not even brand new. One. Two, as far as I hear, it was originally designed for river use, not for open ocean on the Atlantic Ocean going between two islands. I mean, really, really Trinidad and Tobago. And the fact is that all the money is usually spent after the fact for this type of information to come out, for us to now be aware of these things taking place in our name, with our money, and then they're stressing us every year about wanting to raise taxes, taking away subsidies, and doing the world of things to bring even more headache and heartache to the population. Again, Trinidad and Tobago, when the hell are we going to actually stand up and speak and have our voices heard and insist that they cannot conduct it the way that they are without the approval of the people? When Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, we going through this every weekend or every week. We come on here, we talk, we bring the factual information to you, and at the end of the day, we still, nothing. Look, Petrotrin is closed, Trinidad, closed. My question isn't that we're so jaded? The population, the working body population of Petrotrin decided to close and block gate to Petrotrin the day that was their last day when they were supposed to collect severance, and they didn't even collect the severance. But my point is, that's the day you wanted to go and stand up to block gate. We are so jaded to that point. We wait for everything to the last minute, the last hour, the last second, when the damn bell is being rung months in advance. Really, Trinidad and Tobago, I am seeing my country be ripped apart. And I cannot take it anymore. I cannot. What are we leaving for our children years from now? What is my question to you, Trinidad and Tobago? What are we leaving for the generations to come? Do we have any idea as to the bloody environment there is on a global scale out there outside of the shores of Trinidad and Tobago? Things are becoming extremely volatile. Things are becoming even harder. They're talking about, I mean, there's a host of different things. Look, we don't even need to go through that in no fine-tooth comb or no detail. The point is, Google it, go on Facebook, go on social media, look at the news, look at CNN, look at Fox News and BBC and see what the heck is going on around the world. Why are we as a people not insisting on seeking the betterment for ourselves? With the resources that we have, other countries don't even have it, don't even dream to have what we have here in this country. But yet we still insist on pissing it away. And here we are. China is going to come in and just sweep this country clean. Take my word on it, because that's the agenda for China. They are not taking over the world with military force. It's an economic takeover.
That's right.
And we have people with a doctorate, masters, bachelors, and nobody could see this. Nobody could see the interests of Trinidad and Tobago. We only look at it now. We're not looking at the future. We're not looking at later on. They're talking about building this thing. China is going to come to build it. Are they also bringing their people to build it? How are we having monies drilled down to our citizens on the ground, our laborers, our workers, our people with skill sets within the construction industry, engineers and so on and so forth, that spend how much money to have their skill set? And my point is, who is going to build that shipping complex? Who? Not the Chinese? Because as far as I see, just about every other goddamn project we had here that we brought the Chinese in has been the Chinese workers coming to this country and taking that money out of the country. It's not being drilled down. And then we want to know why our people are the way it is, why we don't have spending power, why it is, you know, we catching our rear end every goddamn day, every year, every goddamn administration. Trinidad, man, Trinidad, all don't get me started right now, you know, serious.
Well, not just that, but they're talking about having 10 Chinese factories opening up in the new industrial park. You know, and what
Chinese factories?
Yeah, Chinese factories.
Manufacturing what?
Well,
exactly.
We don't know. They didn't say. They just said Chinese factories. Now, what has me a little concerned is why China? Because let me read for you here, and I didn't make this up. I mean, this is all on the internet. It's a Newsday article that came out, right? It says that Rowley said China has come to the rescue of Trinidad and Tobago after he took the message to the Premier and President of China on a recent tour with a plan to diversify the economy. Why China? Why not any of the other countries? We told the Chinese that while we acknowledge this project to have tremendous potential for Trinidad and Tobago, we want to go into it comfortably without the fear of failure, and the situation could only be arrived at if the Chinese partner with us in this project, so that when it is built, they don't have to wait for other people's vessels to come into this facility. But if the owners, which is the Chinese, have vessels that require this facility, then that should be guarantee business at this facility. Against this background, the Chinese company has offered to take only a 30% equity in the business. And it would be 30% equity for China and 70% for Trinidad and Tobago. We only want 30% of your of the pie.
Yeah, but again, the throwing figures out before the fact, right? And at the end of the day.
But why the Chinese is my question. You go into the Chinese with the plan. Why?
Yeah, but because you read it earlier, the same company that is doing this project have been accused of corruption.
Correct.
And misbehavior. So why else would the administration want to do business with China? Mm-hmm. If this is a company that possibly is greasing people's hands under the table and giving kickbacks and all these different things, I mean, at the end of the day, again, that's why we don't have the level of accountability and transparency where these big mega projects are concerned, because there's too much money being spilt under the tables by whomever to whomever. We don't know any of this. We don't know any of the players, and well, not to say we don't know any of the players involved. The thing is that everything is just broken Trinidad and Tobago, and what are we going to do, or what do we have to do in order to fix it? Our solution is vote PEP, vote the Progressive Empowerment Party. Come 2020, vote the Progressive Empowerment Party. We will ensure the transparency and accountability that you deserve as a citizen. Is your money being spent out of that treasury, you know? Your money is your taxes that have to be going into that treasury in order to allow this nation to float. So why is it we don't have clear information as to how that money is being spent? In which way, in which form, in which fashion, to whom?
I'm seeing here that also Alpha Raymond has also asked for documentation on this particular project. And he noted that Trinidad and Tobago has to borrow to build the facility, and asked what would be the returns to the population. Nobody can answer that.
Why they would answer it when the no bubble taking place? This is why we don't know how much this bloody thing is going to cost. How could you estimate certain numbers if you still have no clear idea as to what the cost of this facility is going to be? Did you do soil testing? Do you know the type of infrastructure that needs to be placed there? And I mean, really and truly, the zone that is actually in, I mean, were there any surveys done? You know what I mean? But you're running hot and sweaty, quick. Let me go down Library and just build this thing. They wanted to do this, the smelter or whatever it was down that side as well, not so?
Yes, correct. Yeah? And they had to stop it.
And why did they have to stop it?
Because the people at the time said we didn't want it.
Yeah, but there was enough factual information as to the negative effects having such an industry on land, on a small island like Trinidad and Tobago. And these people who are supposed to be there for our best benefit actually sanctioned that and said, okay. Trinidad, where are we going, boy? What are we really doing, boy? What? We have a diamond in the rough with just about everything any first world developed nation wants to have in order to help develop their nation. And we as the people of this country, choose to just piss it away.
Give it away.
Why is my question? Why? Why do we think it's okay to stand in traffic for several hours, morning and afternoon, and still not riot? As Mr. Imbert says. Why? The gas price has raised 3, 4, 5 times, and we still don't want to say
And we're
anything.
getting poor quality because it's evaporating. It is evaporating. People are calling in and saying that they have noticed that they need, when they park up their vehicles, and next morning when they go and they bump the engine, the needle drops. And they're spending more money now in filling up their tanks, where before the gas used to last a little longer. And yet we just taking it.
I'm really
abusive relationship.
I'm distraught.
Really
I'm distraught as a citizen of Trinidad and
this
Tobago.
is real abuse.
Really and truly, I'm distraught. And right now, the topic of discussion is Christmas, boy, ham and turkey, and let me get curtains and clean up and all these different things. And right after Christmas, well, carnival, boy, let me go wind down the place, drink, get drunk, and just balance we ass as if we don't care about tomorrow. Right? That's our whole high, and that's our whole agenda as a people of a nation, where the nation is being pillaged and broken apart, literally. It's going to have a point where we have nothing to hold on to, you know. We have nothing, literally, as a people. We have to look at others who are not even probably of the soil to try to get something of our own that's supposed to be ours right here.
Well,
just think about it.
If these things happen, you might as well start learning Chinese. You know any good?
Chinese girl,
you're gonna have to learn Chinese.
I keep telling you, 2020 come and the people rejects the Progressive Empowerment Party after 2-3 years of hard work on the ground trying to educate the people and let you have factual information. This is no lie. This is proof. This is the proof to show it's there. It's in the world. It's signed and sealed, Trinidad and Tobago. What more do you need to make real change? What more do you need to allow you to not run down that red Kool-Aid and that yellow Kool-Aid that how we so bazody and stupid as a people? What? I don't know what to say to you again, Trinidad and Tobago. We've been doing this for 2 years, and I still, up to today, hear people talk about anti-Kamala, we go vote them, and this and that. Why? Why? For what? These people had an opportunity to bring change. Do we have change? No. No, Trinidad and Tobago. You have a viable option now, and again, if you have doubts about it, come and be a part of. Come and see for yourself. Be within the bowels of this party and know for a fact what is going on, how it's going on, and where are we going from here. Be an instrument towards that change, Trinidad and Tobago, because it's up to you. We cannot do this by ourselves. We cannot. And every day goes by, I become more and more frustrated because I see things that can be fixed as easy as night and day, and yet it's all a mess, and nobody is taking accountability or responsibility for it. No one. So my question again is, they're saying election is in 2020. Are we able to survive 2019? How many people died for the year so far? These are our citizens, regardless of what the circumstances is, because at the end of the day, if we had a country that worked and things was on the up and up, we would not have the amount of murders we have. We would not have the level of crime we have. Think, people, everyone, society dictates. The key that you need to move forward and carry your life forward and to do for your family is what? Money.
But you know what also gets me as well? When Minister Young had that meeting with the 2 representatives from Sandals, and try to make it look as though people who were asking the questions did not know what they were talking about, as well as the 2 gentlemen sat there knowing that what they're doing is not the right thing, that the transparency is not there. When they talked about, it's just an MOU, but it have people out there who know what goes on with that MOU. You understand? So you're talking as though, well, why you're getting down on us? Because we're still negotiating. And it's but the thing signed. I understand that Shamford signed some document in 2016.
Yes,
and
yes,
the same
yes.
sandals
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
So if she signed a document, what again you're hammering out? They're trying to make it look as though we are complaining for nothing. But Trinidad and Tobago, that is not the case. That is not the case. They're trying to make it look as though we are treating them as fools. And they're coming out now with this so-called transparency. But you need to look deeper than what they have indicated to you. On Monday, we're going to have a special radio session with Philip on the Sandals project because we're going to have our senior council advisor, Kenneth Luke, who is going to call in and who is going to give his take on that document. And you are going to learn a lot more of what is really behind that document and what is being let on by Minister Young and those two gentlemen. Really, because there's a lot more to it than what they give. Because they even talked about the drawing, but yet the drawing had to be submitted to get EMA approval.
This is it. And again, all these different bodies, EMA, Tongue and Country, the Borough Corporation, all of them, all these entities, they are not providing the level of scrutiny that needs to be available to the public.
And let me tell you, they've already started to clear the land. They've already started to do work.
Isn't there supposed to be some protected wildlife or something in that area?
Yeah, but they're not. Didn't you hear that they said they were going to move whatever wildlife and stuff to somewhere else because that's what they did in Jamaica? So they're going to do the same thing here in Trinidad?
Again, Trinidad and Tobago are just asking you a simple question, right? If you hire an employee to work for you, are you going to allow this individual to do whatever the heck they want to do in your place, in your business?
Correct.
That's the only question I'm asking to you right now, Trinidad and Tobago. If you are an employer, let's just say Trinidad and Tobago is your business. It's your business, Trinidad and Tobago. The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, this nation, this twin isle, is your business. And you hire a man to run your business for you. And the man is breaking the business apart. Breaking it apart and selling it off. Are you okay with that, Trinidad and Tobago? Would you be okay with that? That's the only question I'm asking, because you see that analogy? That's exactly what is taking place here in Trinidad and Tobago for the last 56 years. And we are seeing it in the present day right before our eyes. And us as a people still choose not to stand up and make noise.
Well, those who don't like it, they're leaving. There are a lot more people leaving.
Yeah, but you're going to have a larger number of people not being able to leave. What are their position?
That's what they have to ask themselves as well. Besides just being a business owner.
What?
At the end of the day, they have nowhere to go. They just don't.
Trinidad, I leave all the whole world out there to come back home, boy. Because I love Trinidad and Tobago. This is paradise, boy. I know it could be paradise. I see it could be paradise. We have everything going for us as a nation, as a people. We have all the key elements we need to forge this nation forward into a first world status where all the nationals have hope and opportunity, man. And we literally is sitting by and seeing people that we put into public office just really messing this whole thing up. They are messing this whole thing up. And I ask every single day, when are we going to stop this? When? When are we going to stop this, Trinidad and Tobago? When can we make sure that we are putting individuals into a public portfolio position in your regard, in your name, and ensure these individuals get the job done the right way, where you as a citizen can actually see benefits, that can actually have some level of hope and opportunity. When are we going to do this? When are we going to do this, Trinidad and Tobago? Really, we run down to massy stores to run over and walk over and beat up on people for ham. Ham, boy, ham. Ham. Really, Trinidad and Tobago? Really?
And the ham obviously was probably in stock for quite some time.
Yeah, but regardless of the ham being in stock quite for some time, my point is, but wait. If we were able to feed our nation, that $50 ham would not be no big phenomenon. That would be the normal price of ham in this country if we had our farming taking place the way it's supposed to be, where our livestock is concerned, where our agriculture is concerned. If we made a direct agenda in trying to feed our nation, that in itself is going to put a lot of people to work. That in itself is going to allow circulation of money within the system, and that is what it needs for our country to be buoyant and for it to be to actually rise and to be able to do something for itself within the development. But yet we still have 11 administration with a bunch of jackasses that come in, they're calling themselves prime minister and still can't do what I ask of the people. We supposed to be okay with that? No. Listen, I cannot take this bullshit anymore. I cannot, Trinidad and Tobago. I am coming to my limit because I keep saying this fact. It is grown men and women who are supposed to be educated. They are supposed to take this nation to a place that no other nation is able to experience or to have. And we are capable of doing this. We are supposed to be the best of the best on this goddamn planet, man. And why it is we just want to sit here and have excuses and blame this one and blame that one, blame the last administration and blame who went and come in and all this sort of blasted madness. Serious, man. Janice, take over. I can't.
Okay, let's turn to our event this Sunday, which is a UN initiative, and it is going to be starting at 10 o'clock, but we would like everyone to arrive at 9. It is in collaboration with, to do with the elimination of violence against women and girls. The UN initiative also is a worldwide initiative, and it's called Orange the World, which is very apt, I think. Hashtag Hear Me Too. So we would like all of you out there to come in your numbers. Come and walk with us around the savannah. We are only going to walk around the savannah once, and we have this huge bolt of orange fabric that everybody's going to be carrying around the savannah. So come out, come and spend the day, have your say, because when we come back to the head office, we're going to have a few speakers, and you're going to be given an opportunity to say what you would like to say about the whole topic in itself. Now, these are some of the organizations that have partnered with us for the walk on Sunday. That they are Missing Persons TT, Healing with Horses Tobago, Women Everywhere, Womantra, Network of NGOs, Caribbean Kids and Families, Domestic Workers Trade Union, TNT Green Building Council, Hear Me Too TT, Marabella Family Crisis Center, Moms for Literacy Caribbean, Motivated in Motion, Traditional African Women's Organization, and Rape Crisis Society. Now, we're also going to be having a patron. Her name is Kezia Lendor. She is a fashion entrepreneur who has dedicated her career to the advancement of cultural diversity in fashion. She is the lead fashion stylist and social media director of Keys Styles and founder of the fashion blog Keys Blogs. She's also very well, she has been featured in many reputable publishers for her style and love of fashion, like Vogue.com, British Vogue, Lucky Magazine, and Fashion Bomb Daily, to name a few. She is driven by a deep passion to propel the image of Caribbean fashion into a clear-cut realm of international excellence. So she will be leading the walk around the savannah, and then I've asked her to say just a few words about what she would like, what is in her opinion she would like to see happening with respect to the elimination of violence against women and girls in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, this initiative is supposed to be driven by the government, and you know, some of the things that's supposed to be done, I have not seen done at all, which is lighting up your monuments with orange lights, having lots of activities, which is being featured in the media, as well as you're supposed to have huge banners going across nations' roads and highways, creating that awareness. So you're driving down the traffic and you're only seeing banners. I mean, this should only be orange all over the place, and I have not seen that. But the Progressive Empowerment Party, in its own way, would like to do our part to show that we want to help raise the awareness of eliminating the violence against men and girls. There's just too much violence being perpetrated against them in today's world, and we need to have it stopped. There needs to be cultural change. There needs to be getting the men and the women, because I've been told that it's not just the women alone who are abused. The men also are complaining. So I think both sides need to sit down and come to some form of compromise as to how to have an argument without actually inflicting violence or abuse on either party. So do come out in your numbers on Sunday. Orange is the color to wear. We just want to see a sea of orange going around the savannah. Cars must stop, and the drivers must be asking, what's going on? Why are you in orange? What's this about? Because it's going to be a very unusual sight, seeing a group of people walking and this huge piece of fabric being carried by the women. And we've also would like to encourage the men, please do come out, support us, support the women, support the girls, because you also have mothers, sisters, you know, cousins, aunts, cousins who are female, and so on. So we would like to really make this a big event, and we look forward to all of you coming out and being a part of this fabulous, momentous occasion. So we look forward to seeing you on Sundays. We meet here at 19 Stanmore Avenue at 9 o'clock, and then we head up towards the savannah at 10. There is no cost. It's free of charge. We're going to have vehicles going to be driving along the side that will have water for anybody who requires water, and so on. So we are prepared for accommodating thousands of our citizens on Sunday. So we look forward to seeing all of you.
Yes, come and support. It's not just for us, it's for you, it's for the nation, it's for the betterment of our nation and our citizens. And I just wanted to touch base because I heard you say just now, you know, where women and as well as men, where abuse is concerned, but as well as one of the main focuses we need to place is for children as well, because just keep in mind the psychological effects of a child having to grow up in an abusive environment, whether it be abusive to them physically or mentally, or possibly even physical abuse that this child has to witness by their mother being abused, or even their father for that matter. My point is that that is still a level and form of abuse. And when you have that instilled into a child having to grow up in an environment like that, now we are creating an environment for children who knows nothing better, who now misinterprets love as in well, you know, as we joke all the time where this administration is concerned, you know, beat me, the only way you love me is if you beat me. But again, you know, it's so many different prongs that has to be addressed all at the same time, because it's not just women we have to put that focus on, not just men as well, but a great part of that focus has to be within the home for those children, for our children, for the nation's children, because it's what they are exposed to is what creates the environment within adulthood for that abuse, for that level of violence, whether it comes from the male or the female. So again, it's just so many things that we have to be aware of, and it's so many different parties and invested interest groups and so on that we need to bring together and actually have a level playing field of understanding, communication, and a think tank of sorts that we can forge something for the nation in itself to benefit its citizens across the board, men, women, and children, as well as animals as well, because we also have an animal bill of rights that we're working on right now as well. So you know, it's just a host of different things. And again, Trinidad and Tobago, look, yes, the Progressive Empowerment Party, yes, we are the new kids on the block. We've been in existence just coming to 2 years now. And let me tell you again, the people within this party is all patriots, man. We do want to see a better country. We do want to take our burglar proof off of our windows and be able to have our money having real worth and value, and for us to have spending power, all the things that you dream of or think is a phenomenon when you go to a first world country. You know, like Minister Hines, when you open up the water and say, what? This whole time I hear, every time I open up the tap, water coming out? Yo, Trinidad, we can have that too. I'm telling you, and that's a fact. It's no BS, you know what I mean? And again, it's just these people that we've been putting into the administrations for the past 56 years, really have no clue what the hell they're doing, really and truly. And all I'm saying is that our administration, as the Progressive Empowerment Party, we are going to come on the ground where you are. We will talk to you. We will let you know what we propose in moving the country forward and the mechanisms that we plan to put in place. And we want to get your input on it. We want to let you know exactly how that system works and what's your take and how do you feel. Because again, we're not trying to shove anything down the throat. We want you to support this cause and bringing us to a first world nation, and for everyone having hope and opportunity. And that's the bottom line. That's the agenda of the Progressive Empowerment Party. End of story. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, thank you for having us. That's my 2 cents for the hour. And look out for us next Thursday. Jan?
One other thing I want to make mention of is that this whole initiative also talks about leaving no one behind.
That's right.
No one is to be left behind with this initiative. And again, it is so interesting how it dovetails into the Progressive Empowerment Party's statement, which is no citizen is to be left behind. So, you know, it really is amazing. And then, of course, the use of the orange color as well. But it seems that this sort of initiative, they have declared like the 25th of every month is supposed to be an orange day.
Right.
So people are supposed to really wear orange on that day. And again, it's so interesting how our color is orange. So it says a lot. The positive energy is there. It's just for people to see it.
The international orange is what on the international stage? Safety, right?
Right. Yeah.
Enough said. Enough said. Trinidad, you will be safe with us.
Come out on Sunday. Take the opportunity to add your voice to the frank and open discussion. Express your opinions. Come and let's have the conversation about abuse. And you know, you may know somebody right now who's being abused, and you're so afraid to come out and say anything, or you know, they don't want you to say anything. It might be a family member. I mean, as I keep telling everybody, it's only now recently I have openly spoken about the fact that I have grown up in an abusive family environment. You know, and I mean, it was very traumatic as a child. So when I was being courted by my husband.
Ow! Hey, the skittle will have come out now.
I put him to sit down and I said, listen to me. The last man to put his hand on me is my father. And if you're a fella that likes to hit, now is the time for you to walk, because if we do get married...
You were dead.
Well, I was a little more polished in saying if you're dead.
Oh, God.
You know? But on one hand, we would get licks from our dad, but on the other hand, he taught us how to stand up for ourselves and against a man. Because in an abusive relationship, it's not just about the licks. It's also about economic abuse, social abuse, breaking down your self-confidence, making you feel as though you are nothing, and it's and mental abuse, emotional abuse. You see, so there's all that those kinds of things that take place that at the end of the day, you either come out a wreck, or you come out with your back strong.
And don't get me wrong, there are some women out there that's missing a few beers out of that six-pack, that actually drives men up a wall. I'm not saying that it's okay for a man to hit a woman. I don't condone that whatsoever.
Just walk away.
I'm just saying, Trinidad and Tobago, we have a serious psychological issue with our citizens, period, across the board. And it's something that we do have to address. We have to have discussion. We have to create new curriculums in school that can educate children, from that young tender age, as well as into their teens, into their young adulthood, as well as something available and a system and mechanism that actually works for the adults, both men and women.
But we also need the social services as well.
Yeah, but the social services to actually work properly with teeth. That's
right.
With
and
teeth.
Also in the communities as well.
Well, this is it.
Because, once you are in a community where everybody knows everybody, it's very easy to pick up on whether somebody's being emotionally or physically abused. It really is easy. And there must be the personnel and the services who can go in and address it.
That's right.
And come out with some kind of, where both parties can either say, listen, we could continue either living together or just part ways.
Yeah.
Part ways, go in different directions.
Trinidad, you should be so excited. You actually have a political vehicle that you yourself can literally be a part of. 1.4 million of you can actually be a part of this movement. A movement for change, a movement for betterment, a movement for hope and opportunity for its people, not leaving one citizen behind.
But also, more importantly, we're going to have the recall.
Exactly, recall, that's right. That law, Trinidad and Tobago, we as the PEP, Progressive Empowerment Party, will be the ones bringing that law to life. Recall. And the Progressive Empowerment Party will be the first party being exposed to that law, which makes you, the citizenry of this country, having the power, if you're not happy with the performance of our administration in mid-flight, you have or will have the right to get rid of us. Get rid of the MPs or people within public portfolios or public office that is not performing and not getting the job done. It's that simple. It is that simple. If we need to create an environment or a mechanism where we have a localized election for that particular seat, whether it be on the local level or on the national level, listen, again, wait not Trinidad, or let's come down, 19 Stanmore Avenue, let's have the discussions, throw the questions out. Let's bring you up to speed as to what the vision that we hold to our hearts in moving this nation forward to bring betterment for everybody, man. Don't be in the dark about this. We've been in the dark too long. 56 years is way too long, Trinidad and Tobago. Now is the time for us to open our eyes and see what we really worth, see where we can really be, and have the betterment and the hope and opportunity that is deserved to us as a people, man. After having our ancestors come here as indentured laborers and slaves, the least the grandchildren of Africa and India can have is a country to be proud of. One that maybe our ancestors are not directly from, but we are creating our own new ancestry right here in this island of Trinidad and Tobago for our generations down the road 100 years from now that can actually turn around and say they are proud to see what we did in laying a road forward for the generations to come, man. Trinidad, only wake up, boy, wake up. We could be lover boy and lover girl for the person that we like and is interested in on that level. Let's take it to another level. Let's take it to a national level. Let's give that love to a nation. Let's seek the betterment for everyone. That is what we're talking about. And it's a simple thing, and you want to run to first world country, watch me. We will bring Trinidad and Tobago to such an elite status. They can't even classify it first world. They have to make a whole new category for that. I'm telling you, and it's possible.
I think too, what also needs to be emphasized is the fact that we are very, very clear on transparency and accountability.
Yes.
Whether it's for 5 cents, 10 cents, $500, $1,000.
Correct.
We are very clear. If there's money that is to be spent, we will be asking for people to be accountable, to provide their receipts, to provide a list of where the money went.
Well, look, we have members that in some cases we insist on that level of accountability and transparency, and they are so not accustomed because society dictates it to be that way. They're questioning, but why you had to be wanting to know everything? How much money spent, where it's spent, but this is what we're using it for. And the point of the matter is that we need to have a clear accountability for every cent being spent across the board, no matter what it is for, especially if we are doing something within this party trying to help people on the outside. Regardless of it being help, we still want to have clear accountability, so this way anyone can walk in our doors and ask for an audit or ask for our figures, and we can show them and we can drill it right down to the penny. To the penny. Whatever was given to us, what was made via business ventures, what was made as a contribution, however, my point is it has to be archived, it has to be placed on a document where we can have that level of transparency and accountability. It's that simple. So practice makes perfect. So even to the members, don't stress. Get accustomed to it. Get accustomed. Because we want to roll that out on a national level. Let's know where everything is being spent, how, when, where, and in what manner, and see if it actually makes sense. So this way we can minimize on the hemorrhaging that's taking place, as well as the theft and underhanded business that goes on within public office. Yeah, what I'm telling you, Trinidad and Tobago. But anyway, I know we've gone over our time, have we?
Yes, we have.
All right.
Okay, so we believe that citizens should have a say in how they are governed, so we invite persons to volunteer to serve within our
Don't bite that tongue now. He's been trying to bite on it all night.
To serve within our organization and help advance the vision and the mission of the PEP, One People Under One Flag. The party is a volunteer organization that depends solely on the contributions from our members to keep us funded. Our mission is to contest the next general election, which will require significant funding. The PEP is guided by principles of transparency and accountability, and we assure you that your generosity will be used solely for the advancement of the organization as we work our way towards a better Trinidad and Tobago. We would like to acknowledge all our members and thank all of our viewers. To those of you who are on the road, please be safe. Good night.
Good night.